Welcome to the channel. You know, we hear all the time, save more, spend less, right? But have you ever stopped and wondered how the super wealthy, the top 1%, actually manage their money? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on their core strategies. And the best part is, you can start using them no matter what your income looks like. So let's get right into it.
So, what's with this big number on the screen? 0. What does that mean? Well, that's the percentage of the top 1% who built their entire fortune from a salary alone. Yeah, you heard me right. 0. Not a single one of them got rich just by cashing a paycheck. So, if that's not the secret, what is?
Okay, so if a giant salary isn't the ticket, what is? It comes down to one simple, powerful idea: ownership. The secret isn't what they earn, it's what they own. We're talking about assets, things that make money for them while they sleep. Businesses, real estate, stocks, you name it. See, when you just trade your time for a paycheck, you're on a treadmill. You own nothing that grows without your direct effort. To really get ahead, you have to flip the script and make your money start working for you, not the other way around.
All right, so how do you actually do that? How do you break this cycle and start owning assets? Well, it's not as complicated as you might think. You don't need to be a Wall Street genius or have complex spreadsheets. It all comes down to a really simple but powerful system, the 3-bucket blueprint. And seriously, this is a framework anyone can use to start managing their money like a pro, starting today.
So here they are, the 3 pillars of this whole blueprint. Super simple. First, you've got your growth engine. This is all about putting your money to work. Next up, your financial armor. This is what's going to protect you from all the curveballs life throws your way. And finally, your intentional lifestyle. This is about making sure you're spending on what actually matters to you. We're going to break down each one step by step.
Okay, let's jump into bucket number 1, which is honestly the most critical piece of the puzzle, your growth engine. Think of this as the part of your money that's on a mission. Its job is to go out and buy assets for you. Things that grow in value over time. This right here is where real long-term wealth is built. And I can't stress this enough. The single most important ingredient is starting early.
And to show you just how critical starting early is, let me tell you a quick story about 2 friends, Billy and Phil. So Billy starts investing just $200 a month right when he turns 20. His buddy Phil, he waits a bit, starts when he's 30. But to try and catch up, Phil invests more. He puts in $300 a month. Now, fast forward to when they're both 60. Phil has actually invested $12,000 more of his own money than Billy did. So, you'd think Phil ends up with the bigger pile of cash, right?
Wrong. Not even close. You see, thanks to the absolute magic of compounding, Billy ends up with, wait for it, over $1.2 million. That is almost $600,000 more than Phil, even though he put in less money. That extra decade he had, it wasn't just a head start, it was a game changer. It made all the difference.
I mean, even Einstein was impressed. He called compound interest the most powerful force in the universe. And that's really what it is. It's this magical snowball effect. Your returns start earning their own returns, and the whole thing just grows bigger and bigger, faster and faster over time. And this story? It's the perfect example of why you've got to start now. I don't care if it's a small amount. Time, not money, is your single greatest asset when it comes to building wealth.
So where do you put this growth money? Well, for a lot of people, one of the absolute best places to start is something called a Roth IRA. Here's the deal. You put in money you've already paid taxes on. But here's the amazing part. Every single penny it earns from then on grows completely 100% tax-free. And when you're ready to retire, you can pull it all out, still tax-free. For 2024, if you're under 50, you can put in up to $7,000 a year.
Now, if your job offers a 401k, listen up, because this is a total no-brainer. With a 401k, your contributions come out before taxes are taken, which actually lowers your taxable income right now. But the best part, the absolute killer feature, is the employer match. A lot of companies will literally match what you put in up to a certain point. This is free money. I'm going to say it again. It's free money. You should always, always contribute at least enough to get that full match. Leaving that on the table is like turning down a raise.
Okay, so you've got the account open. Now, what do you actually invest in? Look, for most of us, the simplest and frankly most effective option is an index fund. Instead of tearing your hair out trying to pick the next big stock, an index fund just lets you buy a tiny slice of the entire market, like say the top 500 companies in the US with an S&P 500 fund. It's super low cost, it's instantly diversified, and it's the perfect set it and forget it strategy for just letting your money grow long term.
All right, growth engine is humming. Let's move on to bucket number 2, your financial armor.
This is so important. Think of this as your financial bodyguard. Its only job is to protect all the progress you're making in your growth bucket. Because look, life happens, right? The car breaks down, the water heater explodes, emergencies pop up. And if you don't have this safety net, you might be forced to sell your investments at the absolute worst possible time, wiping out your progress. And if you think I'm being dramatic, check this out. This is a pretty harsh reality check right here. A recent study found that a shocking 56% of Americans couldn't cover an unexpected $1,000 expense without going into debt. 56%. Your financial armor, your emergency fund, that's the wall that stands between a small, annoying problem and a full-blown financial catastrophe. So, how much armor do you actually need? It's way simpler than you probably think. Here's what you do. First, just list out your core monthly expenses. I'm talking the absolute must-haves. Rent, food, utilities, the basics. Got that number? Okay, now just multiply it by 5. Boom, that's it. That's your target for what I call a stability fund. It gives you a 5-month cushion to handle pretty much anything that comes your way.
Now, where you stash this cash is just as important as how much you have. There are 3 rules here, and they're non-negotiable. 1, it has to be liquid, meaning you can get your hands on it fast, like within a day. 2, it has to be at 0 risk. That means you absolutely do not invest this money. And 3, it should still be earning you some interest. So, the best option by far, a high-yield savings account. Seriously, these can pay you 10, even 20 times more interest than your regular old savings account at the big bank.
And that brings us to our third and final bucket, your intentional lifestyle. This is basically the money you get to live on, the fun part. But let's be clear, this isn't about being cheap or cutting out everything you love. Not at all. It's about being intentional. It's about consciously pointing your money at the things that genuinely make your life better, the things that bring you real value and joy. You know, there's a massive difference between looking rich and actually being rich. Looking rich, that's the flashy car, the designer logos, all the stuff you can see, which is often paid for with debt. But being rich, that's the stuff you can't see. It's the steadily growing investment accounts. It's the peace of mind that comes with financial security. It's having real freedom of choice. The goal here isn't to impress your neighbors. It's to build a life that you control on your own terms. And you know what's funny? So many of us get caught up stressing about the small stuff, right? Like, oh no, I bought a $5 coffee. But honestly, the truth is you will make 1,000 times more impact by focusing on the 2 biggest line items in your budget, housing and transportation. If you can get those 2 things right, maybe by living in a slightly more affordable place or driving a reliable used car instead of a new one, you free up a huge amount of money to use on other things without having to feel guilty about the little joys.
And this really gets to the core of it. It's about shifting your mindset from restriction to intention. So before you buy anything, just pause and ask yourself one question. How much do I truly value this? And be honest. If that $5 coffee genuinely makes your morning better and helps you crush it at work, then the value you're getting is way more than $5. The secret is to spend extravagantly on the things you absolutely love, and then be totally ruthless about cutting back on the stuff that doesn't matter to you.
So that's the whole system right there. You've got your growth engine, which is busy building your wealth. You've got your financial armor, which is standing guard to protect it. And you've got your intentional lifestyle, which lets you actually enjoy it. This 3-bucket blueprint, it's more than just a budget. It's a clear, simple path you can follow to build real financial freedom and live what I'd call a truly rich life. And that really brings us to the end of this breakdown. But honestly, it's just the beginning for you. Because the most important thing you can do now is move from just watching and learning to actually doing. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the first, small, ridiculously easy step you will take today, like right after this, to start building your financial future?
Hey, if you found this helpful and you want more educational content just like this, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching.